And welcome back inside Getting Loose with Leon, motor racing news without access. You got the big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside no one, flying solo on this Wednesday evening, February 26th, year of our Lord, 2024, as we get ready for the third race of the season, NASCAR motoring into the capital of the great state of Texas, Austin, and the Circuit of the Americas. Going to be interesting. First road course of the season. What an interesting season it's been so far. Of course, we had the marathon of a Daytona 500 that seemingly took forever. Of course, always the biggest weekend of the year to kick off the season. Then last week you go to Atlanta, which provided one of the most exciting races in all of motorsports history, probably. And you got robbed of what could have been a great finish because of the yellow flag there. I won't go back and revisit all of that. I think there's still a line of really upset drivers wanting to have a little chat with Mr. Hocevar, the way he was driving that 77 around the track on Sunday. And now we go deep in the heart of Texas to go do a little road racing on a reconfigured track here at the Circuit of Americas. Of course, they were racing previously on their previous four stops on the full 3.41 mile track. They've actually shortened that up. I think turns like 7 through 11 was the section that got taken out this year. So in terms of the length of the race, it's going to be about 3 miles shorter, but I believe it's 95 laps, whereas before it was 68 laps. So if you're a fan in the stands, good news is you'll get to see a little bit more action going by you for a few more laps. But here on the screen here now, you can see what they're calling the national course, which is 2.3 miles there. And I like that elevation change there as well. So should be interesting race here as we get ready to go down to Texas. And of course, road courses always leave things wide open because you never know what's going to happen there when those guys start beating and banging across the road courses. They're always and there's always some interesting guys that are going to be up top in terms of betting favorites. And let's not waste any time. Let's get into that this week and take a look at the odds. And for that, we go to Big O's picks. All right, so Shane Van Gisbergen, of course, the odds-on favorite this week. Best odds right now, 550. You can catch him on FanDuel. Then Connor Zilsich, I think I'm pronouncing that right. I've seen it pronounced a few different ways. 18 years old, making his debut in a Cup car. He's plus 800. Of course, he is a road course expert there. He's at plus 800 on FanDuel. Tyler Reddick also at plus 800. You can catch him on the Caesars Sportsbook, and William Byron at plus 1,000 on FanDuel. Well, who do I like this week? Of course, it might be a kiss of death because I like those forwards last week. We saw Logano get into some incidents there, and Chase Elliott was looking good for a potential top 10 last week for me, and we saw what happened to him. So it might be a kiss of death if I'm picking you there. I like Daniel Suarez as my long shot of the week last week. Didn't necessarily work out well for him either. So we'll see what happens this weekend. For that, let's go and take a look at my picks. Of course, I hate to go with the odds-on favorites. Tried to avoid this most weeks, but Shane Van Gisbergen, the guy, let's face it, he is an open wheel. He is a road course beast. Of course, he won his first ever Cup race back in 2023, that Grant Park 220 in Chicago. He's got 3 Xfinity Series road course wins last season. And let's face it, this guy, he's from New Zealand. He raced in that Australian V8 Supercar series. That is road courses. He's got 81 Supercar wins there as well. This guy knows what he's doing on a road course. Plus 550, you can get him in right now on FanDuel. You're going to see that WeatherTech 88 up there for a good portion of the race, and it wouldn't surprise me. And obviously, with the odds, it doesn't surprise Vegas if he comes away with the checkered flag. So Shane Van Gisbergen, anytime there's a road course, you can go ahead and pencil him in for as long as he's driving a Cup car as one of the odds-on favorites there. Next up for me is going to be Kyle Larson. You can get him actually at plus one, plus 1100 right now on FanDuel. This one actually surprised me a little bit. He has 6 NASCAR road course wins. I believe that's the most of any active driver right now. He struggled a little bit at COTA. His average finish there is about 15 and a half. And his whole career, he's led a total of 4 laps at COTA. But I'm going to go ahead and, crumple that up, toss it out into the wastebasket there, because this is the first time they're racing on this amended surface, I guess you could say, shortened track, taking out some of the turns. So it'll be interesting to see how this race comes to us. Obviously, we know his struggles on super speedways. This is not a super speedway, but Hendrick is motoring along right now. I know he's frustrated, especially by how things went in Atlanta. I think if he's going to get his season going, this would be a great chance to get to a discipline that he knows. This guy can drive, anything with 4 wheels. You get him on a road course. This is a great opportunity. I love Kyle Larson at plus 1100. You give me that 5 car and you give me those kind of odds, I'm going to take it every single week. So Kyle Larson at plus 1100 on FanDuel. Also, Kyle Busch, a guy who used to drive the 5 way back when. He's driving that number 8 Rebel Bourbon car. I like him to get a top 5. That's plus 400 right now on BetMGM, plus 400 right now on BetMGM for Kyle Busch. He's got 4 career road course wins. Of course, that last win on the road course, though, came back in Sonoma in 2015. So we're looking at, almost a clear decade since he got one of those. But he did lead 68 laps at COTA last year, ended up finishing 9th. Obviously, this guy did not win a race last year. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong for him. Seems like some of that snake bit, it's kind of moving over into 2025. I know he's frustrated. I know he wants to break through. I'm not sure if this is the week he breaks through and gets the win, but Kyle Busch is one of the best drivers to ever shoot up a race suit, and I love him on road courses. He can drive anything with wheels, man. I'm telling you, I think this is an opportunity for him to run well, feel good about himself, and maybe carry some momentum going into the rest of the season here, as we are still early on. So I like him right now to get a top 5 finish at plus 400. And then finally, my long shot this week, Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher driving that number 17 Fastenal car. 2,600 right now on FanDuel. Chris Buescher at 2,600. He's got 13 top 10s in his last 16 road course races. And he finished 8th at COTA in 2023 and last season. And he picked up a win on the road course last year at Watkins Glen. I like what this guy's done on road courses. I love road courses. It's my favorite kind of thing. I can't wait till F1 gets started because I love that kind of racing. That's a whole other conversation for another day, because I know some of you are going to have some things to say about the annual Max Verstappen, and now I guess you could say Lando Norris parade while the rest of the field tries to figure out what's going on behind that. But I digress. This guy right here at plus 2,600 picked up a win on the road course last year. He's run well at COTA the last couple of years, a couple top 10s. I like him sneaky right now, plus 2,600. Great odds on that on FanDuel. Dive in and take a look at that. All right, so kind of couple things here coming out of the picks. One thing I wanted to get to, I love the paint schemes. Was going to go through a bunch of F1 paint schemes last week, or liveries, I should say, as they unveiled those. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues with the podcast, so Jess only had an opportunity to put up pics on social media last week, which, by the way, if you're not following along, see that little bar at the bottom there? You can check us out on X and Instagram, of course, here on YouTube and Rumble, and also streaming on Facebook Live as well. But make sure to like and follow or comment. Anything that you do like that helps the algorithm, helps this get out in front of more people. We definitely do appreciate it. Going back to that, Ross Chastain this week, I think, wins paint scheme of the week here. Look at that beautiful Trackhouse #1 Busch Light car there with the Longhorns on the front and the state of Texas kind of wrap around it from the flag. I love it. It looks absolutely amazing. That's a great looking car that's going to be out there on the track on Sunday. So definitely looking forward to seeing that one out there. And I think this is another guy that could potentially run well this week. I was thinking about sprinkling a little bit on Ross Chastain as like a top five there, but didn't officially put that on the bet sheet this week. But I do like that potentially there as well if you're looking for something off the board from me. All right. One more thing I wanted to get into here before we get out of here. Of course, these guys like to have a little fun. When you're in Texas, there's always that Mexican culture there as well. And of course, one of the big things with that culture is the luchador wrestling. I absolutely love it. And a couple of guys got into it this week. This clip, courtesy of NASCAR's, I think it was their TikTok page. NASCAR put this up. You got to check this out. Ryan Blaney and Daniel Suarez having a little fun as luchadors. Daniel Suarez tried to do a little flip or whatever that was off the ropes there. Looks like me when I try to get into one of my friend's trucks that has like a big lifted up truck. I am built like a bowling ball. So, raised surfaces are not good for me. Daniel Suarez kind of had that going on a little bit. I don't know what he was doing there. And then going off the top rope, that was clearly not a Rob Van Dam 5-star frog splash that he was dropping there on Ryan Blaney. The whole time, though, I got to thinking, what would happen? Obviously, there's risk in anything in life, but glad it didn't happen. But what would happen if that guy comes down off the ropes like that? And twist his knee or messes up his foot and he's out for a couple weeks because they're horsing around in the ring. I don't think the risk reward there would be high for me. I don't know if I would like it too much if I was his car owner. But hey, that's why I don't write those checks there. But we'll see what happens. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Obviously, F1 doing some testing. Their season's still coming up here. And then IndyCar kicking things off as well. Not a big IndyCar guy. Not really going to talk that too much on here, but excited to see their season get underway. I believe it's in St. Petersburg. I do like Pato O'Ward a lot in that series. If I had one driver I had to back, it's definitely that guy. So we'll maybe talk a little bit about IndyCar, maybe with some of the bigger races coming up during the season. Definitely the Indy 500. But we're going to talk a lot of NASCAR. We're going to talk a lot of F1, and definitely from a betting perspective is how we cover things on this podcast. So just to kind of recap our plays this week, I got Chris Buescher as my long shot of the week at 2,600 to get the win there on FanDuel. Kyle Busch, top 5 is plus 400 right now. You can pick that up on BetMGM. Kyle Larson is plus 1,100 to get a win right now on FanDuel. And then, of course, the odds-on favorite, Shane Van Gisbergen, plus 550 right now on FanDuel. That's going to wrap things up. Make sure to like and subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend, leave your comments. We want you to participate. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to go back and forth with you, so make sure to dive in. We would love to hear from you. Make sure to check us out tomorrow, too, at 6:45 p.m. as we get into our other podcast, the Let's Not Do This podcast, where I'll be joined by Scotty Too Hottie and America's Worst House guest, Chris Green. So we'll see you then next week. And, boys, keep those fenders clean.